Hello.
Well, psychology, hello.
What was that?
That's my intro.
We've immediately ruined the intro. Oh no.
Yay.
Hello, people. Welcome to a train wreck.
Hi,
No. Hello.
I'm Amy.
I'm TechReal.
Hey, yo, what's up, everybody?
Welcome to Side-ology.
Oh my god, we're doing a podcast.
We're doing a podcast. I can't
We're doing
believe
a podcast.
I didn't think we'd be doing this except for the months of preparation leading to doing this.
The months of preparation and the big chunk of time where I just didn't do anything because I was like nervous. Yeah, no. That's how it
Same
goes.
mood. Oh my gosh. Hello, everybody. Welcome.
Hi. What are we doing?
A podcast.
Oh shit. No, like but like why? Why are we doing a podcast, bro?
Well, we both are a bit of a fan of a series called Sides. Have you heard of it?
No. End of podcast.
Oh, dang. Well, I guess we're done. Okay, well,
End of
1 minute long podcast, one episode, we're done. But, no, we are I say all, but both, are a fan of Sides, an amazing series made by a man named Thomas Sanders about mental health, him talking to the different sides of his personality, etc., etc. And
yes, this is going to be us looking at the Sides through the lens of psychology because I'm a psychology major and an absolute psych nerd, and a lot of people have been talking to me in my live streams and things about how specifically they find it interesting how I view Sides. Like, I call it a language at this point, and why it works so well for my own mental health. So TechReal and I were like, bruh, we have all these deep discussions about Sides and about psychology in general. I was like, why don't we make a podcast talking about all the like big moments in Sides and stuff?
Yeah.
So that's
Amy here is the studious one. Amy is the psych nerd. Amy's the one who studied psychology and gone to literal school for it. And I'm the layman. I don't really know what I'm talking about to the fullest extent. I'm the layman. Yes.
TechReal, to be honest, I don't actually know what a layman is.
I know the phrase layman terms. I don't know if we're using that word correctly, even in the slightest. I don't know if saying the layman is proper English, but when have I ever used proper English? But no, whereas Amy knows a lot more about the like ins and outs of psychology in a more book learning sense, I know more about mental health through media and experiences. And also from being friends with Amy. So
and we've had very intensely deep discussions about this. So
we really have like a lot. Like we've gotten real deep.
Yeah, we have, and I'm excited to actually record those conversations.
Oh my God.
But I want to make it clear we are not professionals.
No.
I'm also getting some outside help for myself because I'm definitely not a professional. But most of the things that are going to be talked about, if I ever talk about theories or any kind of like outside help, are going to be from my psychology classes because that's the extent of my knowledge.
And speaking of theories, we're not going to share any because I feel like a lot of people would see a Sides podcast and assume that we're going to delve into what's coming, what's in the future of the series based on what we've seen so far. And mind you, we do have a theory. We have quite a big theory.
We have a really big theory.
But the issue is, we think that based on like the evidence that we found and everything that it seems like, it feels so thematically correct and based in real psychology, our theory, that we feel like we might be a bit too close, and we kind of don't want to ruin it for anyone and or Thomas himself.
We think we're close enough that we're gonna spoil it.
Yeah.
We're that close. So, and I mean, I would love to share it, and I would love to like relish in the glory. But like, at the same time, one, we may not be right, and two, if we do spoil it, like I really wouldn't want to take that from Thomas.
That's the thing. It's that like, one, we don't want like, because if it is close, if it is true, these are some big plot twists and these big developments. And if we were to like say that, then it wouldn't hit nearly as hard once people actually were to witness it. So that would, one, impact people's viewing experiences, and two, kind of get in Thomas's head potentially, in the sense of like, oh my god, like the big twist has been guessed and is out there, and it's like it's not going to hit nearly as hard as it could have, and that's going to mess things up. Like, people would still enjoy it, obviously, but like we're just worried about it. We don't want to ruin the big moment.
So with that being said, we're going to be uploading. We're just going to be talking about the things that are like only that have been mentioned in Sandersides already, the past episodes, the past, all of this stuff. And when that episode eventually does drop, we're going to make an extra episode talking about our theory and how close we were and blah, blah, blah. We will get to it, I promise.
Oh, yeah, we're definitely believe you me, people. Once this comes out, we are going to geek so hard about it.
So hard.
Because I've been waiting to talk about this theory for ages. And I'm so sorry I'm talking about it right now, in a sense that we can't actually talk about it. But, like, we are going to get to it.
We want to make it clear this is not theorizing podcast. That's not what
indeed. So please don't ask us to theorize in the sense of like what's coming for the future. We're just going to be talking about the psychological ramifications of what's going on currently. Yeah.
So what are some of the episodes we have in mind, Tech Real?
Oh my god. Some of the episodes we have in mind. I was not prepared for this question. Hold on.
No, but it says it right there in our notes.
Does it? Really?
You're good.
It doesn't. I have to scroll up in my notes.
No, you're so good. Tech and AB in the future.
Did you know that's what all time travel sounded like? Because I didn't. I
do.
No.
I didn't realize my voice had so much power.
Nor did I. Hello, people. Welcome to the future. We're Amy and Tech from the future, where we don't know how to say words, and we're also just off of recording episode 3, so we're a little winded. So we're here to specify the schedule of Side-ology, because originally we were about to in this episode, but we kind of got it wrong, or not necessarily wrong, but we originally had said when we thought episodes were going to come out, and we've since changed it. So, Amy, what is the official schedule of Side-ology?
Saturday mornings, every week.
Mm-hmm. Every single Saturday.
As long as there are episodes.
Yeah, for as long as there are episodes, every single Saturday in the morning, when you wake up, you'll see a Side-ology.
Bam. Side-ology episode, and you rise in the morning. The first thing you see is our beautiful faces.
Indeed. Well,
I will fight you. I'll fight you. That is what's happening. No.
The urge is strong.
No.
But yes, Side-ology Saturdays every week until we run out of episodes. So yes, and that's not going to be for a while. So don't worry about that.
Yeah, episode 1, Amy and Tech were silly and stupid. They didn't know.
Not like us, who are not silly and very serious.
Very serious and very sure of ourselves.
Indubitably.
All right, back to the episode.
Yes, time travel noise.
Side-ology Saturdays.
Okay, Picani.
Oh my god!
We have to change the entire theme of the podcast. We are now cartoon therapy.
Oh my god.
Side-ology, cartoon side. I tried. It was not confused. We messed up. We need to start over. I'm leaving.
Oh my god. Bye. I'll take the podcast for
oh my god. Solo podcast. The meet the hosts were for nothing.
I guess so. Yeah. Oh well.
Oh my god. But yeah, so every other Saturday we're going to be uploading. That is going to be happening for a certain amount of time, because we do have a pretty limited amount of episodes that we have planned. In the sense that we have a bunch that we've lined up, different subjects. It's a limited number, and then once we're done with those, basically the episodes are not going to be, I was going to say not going to be as frequent, but they're going to be more sporadically uploaded, in the sense that, like, I mean, take a shot every time Tech Girl says "in the sense." I feel like I've said it 15 times since I started recording.
No, you're good, dude. But I think they really are going to show up after the finale, and we don't know when that finale is going to drop, so those extra episodes are going to come after the finale, so there may be a large period of time where we're done talking about things, and we've pretty much covered everything, and then and then we end up over there.
Yeah, because once future episodes start coming out again, we'll have more to talk about, assumingly. So basically, episodes at some point will stop. We're going to make it clear when that stopping point is. And then past that point, as episodes start to come out and we find subjects that we want to make podcast episodes about again, they will come out. But I think at that point, there's going to be less, if any, schedule.
Something like that.
Yeah.
And we're just going to play it. We've never made a podcast before. We don't know what we're doing.
No.
But
anyone who thinks we're like professional podcasters, I'm sorry to shatter your illusions. I would love to play that part, but no.
I will say, as we go into these, we are going to have fan Q&As. So, like, if you have questions that you want us to talk about, that will be a potential option for you.
Oh, yeah.
Feel free to follow us on Instagram and Twitter and YouTube, because some might be seeing this through YouTube.
That's the other thing. Yeah, we're both on YouTube and Spotify for those who don't already know. So you might be watching this on YouTube and you're seeing the video version, or you're on Spotify hearing the audio version. So if you want to find us on YouTube, go to youtube.com/@Side-ology. I think that's how the handles work. I don't know. Something like that. We're Side-ology on YouTube. And then also, if you want to check us out on Twitter and Instagram, we're at Side-ology Pod.
Yay!
Because Side-ology was taken on one already, somehow. Someone beat us to the podcast. We've been beaten before we ever started.
So now, it's time for this Mind Palace moment.
A what?
Hey! Hi. Oh, it's Patton. It's Patton. Hi. Hi, it's Patton. So basically, this is a fun little segment called Mind Palace Moments. And did Amy and Ted sign off on this? I don't actually know. We'll check on that later. I'll ask Logan. He knows everything. But yeah, this is called Mind Palace Moments. It's a moment from the Mind Palace. Yeah. Who would have thought, right? So basically, each of us are going to take turns, and we're going to play a little ditty on a little instrument. I should learn more chords. I should learn what these chords are. I don't actually know. But so we're going to each have a moment. This is my moment. And I'm going to tell you a little dad joke. Are you ready for my dad joke? Oh, I'm not ready for my dad joke. Wait. Okay. Hold on. Okay. I couldn't do this joke without Puppy Patton. Look at her in her little outfit. Okay. Okay. So, why did the birds keep attacking the dog? Why? Because she was a purebred. That's a purebred Patton right there. Look at that. Yeah. That's funny. Okay. Oh, I'm supposed to play the music now. Hold on. Okay, I got the instrument back, so we can finish it off. Ready? They won't normally be this long, I promise.
Amy, what the fuck was that?
It was a Mind Palace moment. It was a moment.
I mean, that was a moment, to be sure, but
Tech Real.
Yes.
Who are you?
Tech Real.
What? Why are you on this Side-ology podcast? And why should I care as a listener? Putting words in our listeners.
I thought you were saying why should you care about me? And I was gonna be like, I don't know.
I care about you, but why should everyone else?
Why? You're asking everybody a person with self-esteem issues to try to make people care about him. This ain't gonna do well. I was
gonna say, don't be mean in the comments. How dare? I will be offended.
No one's gonna be meaner to me than I am.
I will never either.
I mean, well, so about me. Oh my God, I feel like this is the social anxiety's worst nightmare. I feel like I'm at like the front of the class in like a kindergarten or like a high school, and just being like, "Oh, tell us a bit about yourself." No,
Hi,
my name is Tech Real. Blue is a good color. Elephants are neat. Cookies. I don't know, man.
Yeah.
That's probably exactly how school went. Anyways,
that's how my school went, so yeah.
Everyone does that in school. Talk about the elephants and the cookies.
Mm-hmm.
No, but so I've been a fander since roughly 2016-ish, maybe. I don't actually know for sure. I know that I think that I was around in the beginning of this series. I'm convinced I just woke up one day in like a pile of cardigans and cookies and a jam and a sash and a Virgil thing.
God really said you're gonna be a fander.
Yeah, and I just woke up and I was like, oh, I have all these new things to have. I guess I'm a fander now.
Yeah.
I don't know what these mean. And then suddenly my computer like glowed and I was like, what? It's Sandersides.
You, my son, will be a fander.
My gosh. Who knew it was such a godly experience?
I mean, I know it was for me, so I don't...
Is that your origin story?
My origin story. God looked
Oh my
me
god,
dead in the...
spoilers for your section of this, but whoa. Oh jeez. No, but yeah, no, I just sort of fell into Sandersides around the time it started. I don't really remember like if I started from the very beginning. I feel like maybe one of the first things I saw was the Q&A. Because I've always just been drawn to Q&As to some extent.
Okay.
And I've been a fander for a long time now. My fander nature really kickstarted though once I started talking to Amy, mainly because like I don't know, like I already was thinking about it a lot. I had done cosplay stuff and I had thought about the series extensively and I'd gotten really into it, but like I feel like I didn't think about it nearly as much, mainly because I didn't have like really like a designated like Sandersides friend. I didn't really have someone to like talk about it to like extensively. Like I had people who knew about it and sort of watched it kind of, but also not really. Or
I'm so
like
glad I
stopped at a certain point, like it, you know. So yeah, you really like you like transformed me.
I am a massive Sandersides nerd. It's a problem.
Yeah.
It's not.
Well, I mean, it isn't.
It's not.
The way I casually say yeah on this Sandersides podcast.
Yeah. No.
Yeah, no.
I am fully proud to be a fander, and I always will be. So there.
Truly, same. And now, proud to be a Logankin, because you also illuminated that in me. How dare you?
Really? Okay, listeners, tell me I'm wrong. Logankinnies don't know they're Logankinnies until someone tells them they're a Logankinny.
Mm-hmm.
I was not told I was a Logankinny until someone went, like, you kind of remind me of the teacher character. I'm like, what? And then, like, the more I thought about it, I was like, oh, actually.
I was so confirmed in my head to be, like, a Patton/Virgil-kin, and of course I still am. Like, I definitely find myself kinning a bunch of the sides, but, like, I never once considered Logan, because I'm always like, I'm a little goof, and I don't know what I'm saying half the time, and I can't speak for crap. But then I was like, well, like, you said that in, like, one point, and I was like, well, I do like using random vocab words as I find them, and I do like to organize and schedule and categorize, and it was like, oh my god, I'm Logan Sanders. Top that all off with like the intense nitpick energy that only a tech reel do. It's like
I have intense nitpick energy. What you talking about?
That's very fair.
Oh, we get it.
I just know I've been in circles where I've usually been the most nitpicky person on the planet. We're gonna have a nitpick off at some point. Episode like 42. 5. Amy versus Spoiler Tech nitpick
episode
off.
5. I'm just kidding. I don't know what. You remember what episode
5? I said episode 42. I skipped way ahead. Again, perfect example of that Logan energy. I would have said it earlier, I was gonna say 17, but I know we have like around that many episodes planned, and I was like, once episode 17 comes around, if people are expecting that, they're gonna be disappointed, they're gonna get another thing. So I was like, I'll shoot for the stars and say 42.
Pew.
That was me shooting for the stars noise?
Yeah, sorry, I just... Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Man, okay. Is that the sound I hear when you're shooting for the stars?
I'll have to use that next time. Pew,
pew. That's why you haven't been successful up to this point.
That falls after the pew.
It sounds like a baby firework.
Yeah. That's what I was doing.
Okay.
Shooting and then firework and then poof and then... Yeah.
But yeah, anyway. So yeah, that's about all I can really say for my like Fender qualifications. I've been watching for a while. I did some cosplay. I did a Janice song once. So like, I know what I'm doing.
A Janice song?
A Janice song. Oh, so Once Upon a Time. So those, I was gonna say those who have seen the series. If you're watching, you've seen the series. Anyways, in learning new things about ourselves, the puppet episode, the song Incomplete, beautiful song. I was once, not directly, but like I was in a server where someone put forth the challenge of what would be like how would you write a verse for like Janice or Remus in Incomplete, because of course the main four got their verses, and well, sort of, Logan kind of got a verse, but like obviously the dark sides were not there. So what would be the case if Janice had a verse in that? And I saw that and I was like, oh, huh?
I said that's such a cool concept.
It is. I saw that and immediately I was like, oh my god, I'm no big writer, but like I kind of am, and I kind of want to go for it. So I like sat down and I just like wrote a verse for it, and I was just like, what if I just, and I looked around and I found an instrumental of Incomplete, and then I turned it into a TikTok, and I was just like, oh my god, I can just do this. So that's like, that was definitely the biggest thing that I've made in the community. Like anyone, like I'm not famous in the community to the extent that I think you are, but.
famous fickle thing.
Name is a fickle pickle. But
I do think that's how I found you, though.
It is,
like,
yeah.
Incomplete verse, and I was like, oh my gosh, that was so good. And then I saw your Q&A show up on my For You page, and I was like, actually, I want to know more things about this person.
Which is funny, because I thought the Q&A was where you first showed up, and then you like let me know later that it was Incomplete, and I was like, oh my god.
No, it had to have been the verse. I don't think I just jumped into your Q&A.
Yeah, I know a lot of like the sort of bigger creators that I've seen on TikTok saw that somehow. Like for some reason, that's the one thing that got around. The beautiful irony of that, I must say. The beautiful irony of that video. I had hundreds of comments on that thing, and like 90% of them added Thomas Sanders. He never, to my knowledge, he never saw it. Meanwhile, I think I added him once in like a much smaller thing I did where I drew my character Goobs as him, and immediately he saw and commented, and I was like, you saw that?
I love that Thomas Sanders is such a surprise in the community. Like, he's so involved in the Fander community, and yet he's such a surprise when he actually does show up.
He's like a little Jack in the Box.
Yeah, honestly. Like, you just gotta keep tagging him, bro. Mm-hmm. He wants to see it.
He's like I'm trying to think of a better analogy.
He's
a gopher.
He's a ghost.
A ghost. Oh my god.
And then you go, oh my god, Thomas Sanders. There he is.
Thomas Spookters.
Spookters.
This is why I'm the layman.
I'm not doing any better.
Oh my gosh. But yeah, so that's me. That's who I am. What about you?
Oh my god.
Who
am I?
Are you in relation to the Sandersides fandom?
Well, I've been a fan since 2014 of Thomas Sanders. I remember my brother showing me some Thomas Sanders vines, like, for the first time, and then I was like, oh my god, I have to watch this dude. So I watched like Vine compilations, and then yeah, remember?
Is it still too soon?
Well, that's part of it. I was such a goody two shoes when I was younger. Mm-hmm. So like I never got a Vine because I was too young for it. Like, I kind of wish I had now, but like it, whatever.
I got a Vine and I never got into it. Like, I tried so hard to be into it because I was like, everyone's using this, and I just couldn't get into it. And that's what stopped me from using TikTok for so long.
I was gonna say, well, the irony that you use TikTok now, but
literally, like, which is basically like Vine 2.0, but like. At the time, I couldn't get into Vine, but like suddenly, like I got into TikTok. I don't know how that happened, but anyways.
Yeah, it's different. But so I've always during my transition from like middle school to high school, I started to be like, oh god, I'm actually a theater kid, and I actually really like psychology, and I was like slowly getting into that rhythm, and that's when Sandersides came out, and I wasn't like enthralled by Sandersides, but I do remember like watching the first episode and being like, that's the characters, that's cute, and just going, yeah, that's cool. Mm-hmm. But then like I was also deep in the trenches of my Rhett and Link obsession.
We love Rhett and Link.
So that's all I had. So but anyway, when Accepting Anxiety came out, and that was when I like fell in love with the series completely. Because that episode was so in depth, and it was so cool to watch like this anxiety character like hide and watch Thomas go through a panic attack. It was so pretty. I fucking love that episode. And so then TikTok came out, and I was at college, and being at college and noticing that people were cosplaying these characters and playing these characters that I had gotten to know and started to love, I was like, oh, actually, I want to do that. So I started to like, I had like a closet Roman cosplay and a closet Patton cosplay, and just started like doing a lot of that. But I love Logan and Virgil more than Patton and Roman. So I was like, I'm dying. I need something else. So I got the other two, and then I started to make stuff more. And then my mom handed me the purple ball.
The purple ball.
And I might have done a little extra remit, or like it was a outfit challenge, a Sandersides outfit challenge I did once. And then I had one specific Remus outfit because I really didn't have anything else in my closet. And I'm the purple ball Remus. A lot of people knew me in 2020, and it was a whole.
You need to explain the purple ball thing, just for people who like don't know specifically what you mean by purple ball Remus.
Purple ball, yeah, that's fair. The purple ball is one of those like sensory, like squishy ball things.
They're
that's
very
like
slimy.
They're very slimy. No,
I say slimy, like it just feels gross to me.
It's so weird. I can't even talk about it. But they have like the little extra, what do you call it? Hair?
Yes, hairs.
Like, what do you call them?
Rubber hairs.
There's a link to, there's a, if you go to the Twitter or the Instagram, you'll see a video of me with the purple ball and as Remus, and that'll explain everything. But that was what I was known for mostly in the Sandersides fandom, because, you know, Remus just had to have the purple ball with him. Why? I don't know, but that's the rule now. Yeah. But then after that, I started to do in-character live streams, and my live streams, I had already done a little bit of character acting, so I started to get really good at character acting from doing Sandersides quite a bit, and people started to notice that too. And now I make original content, and I don't. It's not that I don't associate with Sandersides anymore, but like.
Funny obviously, for you to say that, given this podcast.
I'm always a fan, but I will say I make more original content now. Yeah. But yeah, dude, that's my ride in the fandom, and that's a lot.
Yeah. That noise does sum it up.
It's a lot. It's
like some fandoms just hit so hard and random out of nowhere, and then you're like, oh gosh, well I found a new life addiction now.
Well, that's the thing. I had never really been in a fandom. Like when I was a Rhett and Link fan, I just loved every song they had, and I watched a lot of Good Mythical Morning. But that's all I did.
What is the distinction then for you for what is a fandom and what is watching?
A fandom is like what I consider a fandom is being like posting the art and posting content and interacting with other people who are also fans online or elsewhere. Because I do that a lot now with Sandersides, because I've made so many friends through TikTok and through the Sandersides fandom now, and I never really did that with Rhett and Link. I just like my brother and I were big fans together, and then I honestly was just watching a lot of content when I was that age, watching a ton of Rhett and Link. That's really all I did. I was just a fan, but I didn't really talk about it because I knew I was really obsessed with it, and I didn't want to weird people out.
It's a mood.
I don't care now. I'm more willing to talk about it, but even then, like there are some people who just don't reciprocate.
I find it so funny hearing you speak about this specifically in the sense that like. As someone who's been in certain fandoms that are, I feel like, a bit harder to convince people of, it's funny hearing you speak about this in the sense of, like, Rhett and Link. Because I'm, like, I was going to say canonically. The tech reel canon. Whoa.
Wow.
Oh, my God. Get ready for this epic tech reel lore. Dab, dab. Anyways, we need to cancel this podcast after that one. Wow.
It's over.
Count how many times TechRoom wants to leave or cancel everything.
How many times do we cancel the podcast in the first video?
First introductory episode. But like, canonically, quote unquote, I am a brony, and as is mentioned in my Meet the Host post, rhymes. I love how that reads. In my Meet the Host post, it is established I am also a Blue's Clues addict. So I'm glad that you do.
I know more about Blue's Clues now, being your friend, than I ever thought I would.
You know all the secrets and the crazy bits.
I love it.
So so it's funny to hear you be like, oh my god, Red and Link is this weird niche thing, because it is kind of, but like, I just find it funny hearing that and then being like, I have to contend with the fact that I'm into like ponies.
That's all.
And preschool shows.
I mean, that's a very valid and fair point. I will say I went to a very public high school, and the high school, this high school had like weed in the hallways like almost every day.
Oh my god.
So there was a very different culture at my high school that like, I mean, Rhett and Link was a little...
I don't think it's that different from mine. I'm in New York. New York's a little donked.
I will say, I was really trying to fit in at that point in my life.
Course,
that's all I wanted to do. And so, like, looking back on it, I can feel the shame that was around it. That's probably related to that kind of shame.
Yeah. I mean, that's fair enough. Different times.
And different experiences, and that's cool that we relate on that.
Oh my god, yeah. It's the GMM Blue's Clues connection.
Oh my god.
Who knew they were connected? Oh, they actually are. There was that one time where they referenced it in a song right near the end.
They reference it in a song?
Do you not remember this?
Dude, I'm a Rhett and Link song nerd. I was the point.
I'm sure I've told you this before. It's remember when they were doing the little songs during the episodes in that like era?
Yeah.
First of all, I just want to apologize to the fans who didn't expect a GMM Blues Clues connection talk in the middle of their Sandersides introductory podcast. Welcome to our ADHD.
Welcome to our ADHD and our friendship. Now, that's what this is. That's what this episode is. This episode is introducing you to us, and this type of shit happens every time we talk.
Very fair. So get used to it. Like, we're gonna try to stay on track, but also get used to it. But no, it's during the era where they were doing songs in episodes. Remember the I Love You song where they didn't want to say I love you? Right near the end, Rhett, as one of the substitutions, so for people who don't know, it was basically a song about, like, not wanting to say I love you, so, like, the person's supposed to, like, cup their ears and not listen. Yes, they're supposed to cup their ears and not hear what you're, like, saying, so that when you mouth it, it looks like the words I love you. One of the last things Rhett said was, find Blue's Clues, and the moment that happened, it was like... Rhett
he said that on stage. Peckerel, every time he was on concert, going around with the tour of mythicality, he said that every time on a stage.
Did I see that?
You did. You saw the tour of mythicality.
I know I saw the tour of mythicality. I'm wondering if he did that during the show that I saw, because I don't remember if he did that song.
Oh yeah. I know he did that in at least the recorded version of Tour of Mythicality.
Fascinating. There's a recorded anyways. Sandersides.
Anyway,
I don't know what we're doing. As much as I want to like geek out about Red and Link for a while, this is not the podcast for that.
Hey, we're
Stay tuned for our next podcast.
Bruh,
and that sound that showed up in the recording that shouldn't have been. Why? I don't know. Technical difficulties. Oh, that thing I muted unmuted.
Oh, well.
We're good.
That's all right. We'll move on.
We love first episode glitches.
So, getting to know you better. Who's your favorite side and why?
Oh god. The can of worms you just opened.
Yeah. So, open it up. Let it out. You don't scare me.
Let out those worms. So when it comes to favorite sides, I feel like it's interesting because instinctively when I was making the branding for this channel / podcast, the advertising, for fun fact for people who don't know, I'm the person behind all the digital art and advertising you're seeing for the entirety of the podcast.
Look at this layout. I mean, I know for the people on Spotify.
I was going to say, these poor Spotify people.
The symbol, like the Side-ology, like note cards and thing, that's Techreal's design. He's so fucking talented.
Pshaw.
Pshaw my ass.
Oh, gosh. But,
anyway.
No, so, for those who've seen it, you'll see this in the, Meet the Host post again, but, we have paper clips based around the sides is a lot of the iconography for this series, and the one I chose for myself, like instinctively, without even thinking, was Patton. Because for years, I completely believed... Were you trying to point out where your card was?
Yeah.
But I chose Patton because for the longest time, I thought that but for the longest time, Patton was my favorite. And that's still not an incorrect statement, but it's more complicated now because, one, Amy has opened my eyes to some Patton stuff that we're going to talk in some future episodes, I'm sure. But additionally, I have found love in so many other sides. Oh, my earbud fell out. I found love in so many other sides. Like, unlike the left side of my earbuds. But, sides. But, no, like, I've learned to love Logan. And as I've started kinning him, Logan has rose to the top. Like, because he's such a damn dork in the best ways. If there's one thing I love, it's characters who are, like, really smart, but also an idiot. And, like, that description is not perfectly Logan, but also it's kind of Logan a little bit. He's not smart about all the things. And also, like, despite his genius nature, he is not above cosplaying as Sherlock and going on this entire tirade. Which is one of my favorite Logan anythings, truly.
That's such a good episode.
Also the fact that he only can sing well most of the time when it comes to crofters.
I'm okay with
this. I like
this.
how that's canonical.
I got the jams when they came out, and I miss the jam. I miss Logan's Berry a lot.
I could have given you my Logan's Berry at the time because I didn't like it. And that's not against, like, the jam brand. Like, it's not against crofters. I'm sure they're great. I'm just not a jam person. I'm not a trying things person. Like, I try things, but I don't like most things. But
I'll take them up.
But yeah, I also like Virgil because, like, of the everything about him. Like, he's just everything. And then Janice. I love Janice. We're going to get into that into some future episodes. I know there's an episode I am living for. I'm such the Janice boy. He's like, he might be my second favorite. Like, I don't have an order for them anymore. As will be clear if I tackle any other favorites questions in the future, which we're going to also in a minute. I'm not good at favorites questions. I either have a very definitive answer that I've had for years, or I absolutely cheat. So I'm going to go with a 4-way tie as my favorite for Patton, Logan, Janice, and Virgil in no specific order, but, like, Janice is probably higher because I like him.
Wow.
He's just the villain vibes, and he also likes mental health now, and that's such a good vibe.
I love Janice.
He's a snack boy.
I love Janice. I'm ready to see him tear Thomas's brain apart.
I know! Man, the way I immediately wanted to start talking about the future, even though we established that we can't do that.
Time.
The urges to do that are going to be painful.
We save for later.
We save for the later. So yeah, what's your favorite side? I'm sure you have a much simpler answer than mine.
Oh, well, sort of.
Yeah.
Like,
simple in the sense that you know which one it is at least.
Oh, I know exactly who it is. It was funny because it started as Logan, because something that was also mentioned in the hosts thing that came out.
Mm-hmm.
I have a massive interest in the uncanny valley. So, like, if something is close to human but not quite, ooh, I love that shit. So artificial intelligence is something that is massively, I'm obsessed. I love every single bit. I will eat it up. Mm-hmm. It's so good. So people have called Logan robotic before.
I'd say that's accurate.
That's why I liked Logan. I'll be real. I mean, I just loved his contributions and the silliness that was added on top of, like, what he was doing. Like, he had his very serious moments, but then he would pull out a jar of Crofters. Like, I love
scarf it down like Scooby with Scooby snacks.
Genuinely, I love that man.
Oh my god, can someone, not talking future events and theorizing anyway, but a loophole in the sense of something I want to see happen is that Logan doesn't want to do something, and then someone says, would you do it for our Crofters?
Oh, would you do it for our Crofters?
Would you do it for a jar of Crofters? And he's like, make it 2.
He would do it. He'd anything. He'd do anything for Crofters. Oh my god. But
Logan.
It was a very harrowing day. And I found out that Virgil had skyrocketed to the top. I remember, like, being in my college dorm, like looking at myself in the bathroom mirror going like, do I like Virgil more than Logan? Oh no. Oh God. Because I've been loving Logan this whole time.
Yeah.
But Virgil is my favorite for a much deeper reason because I have been struggling with my mental health.
Oh my God, same.
Oh my God. But I basically have two, I almost said canonical now.
Oh my God. Amyleigh.
But I have two disorders that are like documented. I have ADHD and I have generalized anxiety disorder. When I didn't know that, or when I didn't know especially about the anxiety disorder, I fully believed, everyone was telling me that I was an overthinker, and that was just the thing. And I was getting frustrated with that and blah, blah, blah. And it was getting to a point where with certain scenarios, it was getting to a point where it was taking over my mind in a way that was not helpful for me. So we had to go find answers. So I went to go to like therapy and getting help for me. And someone in my life pointed out that because as I say, I'm going to talk about this a lot while we're here. But I talk about the sides like it's a language for my brain. So someone pointed out to me who had developed that language with me was looking at me like, Amy, I think your Logan, or your Virgil is disguising himself as Logan. And he's trying to sound like Logan, but all the things he's saying are fears of yours and they're not actually happening. And I was like, what?
Oh.
Huh? And so like, once that started to unravel, I started to notice the difference between Logan and Virgil for real. And then I started to be able to work through how to manage that, as well as recognizing why Virgil does what he does in the series. Like, I know there's so many people in the fandom that I've seen talk about how they don't like Virgil or he's being a bitch to Patton right now or something. Unfortunately, I fully understand where he's coming from, like completely. And like, I don't agree with what he's doing at all, but from a dysregulated mindset that I've had in the past, I get it. And I've also always really just loved the dark brooding characters, the ones that are like, I hate everything. I don't know what it is, but I've always loved those characters. So Virgil skyrocketed to the top pretty quick. And now
Boys.
I love Virgil. I see a lot of myself in him, and I empathize hard. And we'll talk about that for sooner or later at some point. But
later, one of the two.
Sooner, later, maybe someone. But yeah, that's why I love Virgil. He's part of me.
He really is so good. And he wears purple, and purple's a good color.
I love it. The jacket. I made the jacket. In 3 days because once I figured out how to do it, I was like, I'm gonna do it.
The way that I came at the end of this like really deep, meaningful moment, it was like, and he's purple. I like purple.
And he's purple. Literally, when he had the purple eyeshadow, I literally went,
Lord.
He's purple! He's purple! I didn't even explain like, oh, it's purple eyeshadow. No, I just started screaming,
he is purple now.
He's purple!
He has gotten as purple can be.
I love that moment. Anyway, I love Virgil with every fiber of my being, and
God, that was the day he drank the Grimace shake.
Oh boy. His eyeshadow.
We just terribly dated this episode, but it's okay.
I think we were dating this video with the Grimace shake.
You know what? Somebody had to.
Rhett.
And it was me. I'm believing.
Oh my God.
Yes.
Tekra, what's your favorite episode of Side-ology?
Oh my God. I actually have a much easier answer to this one. Because of the fun fact, I actually have an answer. I don't have like 17 different episodes.
It's okay if you don't have an answer. You're valid and you're cool.
I just
it's all good. I know, but like
with other questions.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's funny how I say I have an answer. I still have more than one. But like no, my favorite the thing is it's interesting because my favorite episodes can be counted as one episode technically. Because my favorite two episodes as of right now are Selfishness versus Selflessness and Putting Others First. Which are two halves of the same cohesive narrative. I mean, they're all like a lot of Side Sides is interconnected in general always, but like those are really two half of the same like arc, which is the callback versus the wedding. I love like selfishness. I usually just say SBS, so I'm gonna say SBS from this point on because it's easier. SBS is, I think that one edges out a little over putting others first because everything about that episode is so succinct and beautiful.
It's so succinct and
it's like
writing.
The writing is good. We got Janice. That's it. That's the only reason. You just got Janice. End of episode. The spin?
When Janice spun in and was like, I'd like to call my next witness to the stand. Have you not seen this? We got to show you this after.
I've seen the episode.
I know, but he spins in and then he goes, I'd like to call my next witness to the stand. Virgil.
Oh, and I do kind of remember that.
That was the most, I mean, that's the thing. That's the iconic thing. That everything else in the episode, dead. He spins. That's it.
Oh, that's the... Well, no. What the big Janice moment is later in the episode. That's my favorite Janice moment.
Oh, no!
I forgot what was the line that Roman says right before that? Which is like, we're supposed to like knock him out or something?
To beat someone up and rob their unconscious body, right?
He just looks, no! What? That's my favorite.
I'm trying to teach you a lesson.
That was one of my favorite. It might be my favorite moment of Janice in the entirety of his appearances ever.
That's amazing.
It's just it's just the best delivery. But
it's so.
I love the courtroom vibes. I am someone who really likes like, I don't know if this qualifies as that necessarily, but like mystery media. Like mystery / court media. I don't really make a habit of watching too many like court specific shows because like a lot of them are a bit like drier, more serious. But I've experienced a lot of good like court vibes in different shows. I've seen like Broadchurch. I've seen Broadchurch.
Yep.
Specifically Broadchurch season 2.
Wait, have you seen Legally Blonde?
I don't think I've ever seen it in full.
That may not count.
It's good. I like it. I like investigative media, basically. In a fictional sense, I should say. I could not give a crap what's going on in the world in a real sense. I like to hole up in my little room and just look at media. But but I like mystery media. I like investigative media. So like seeing people like I remember when I first played Phoenix Wright. I haven't gotten very far into Phoenix Wright. I think I just played like the first chunk of the game, but like I was so into it. I just the objections and the rebuttals and the other terms that I'm forgetting right now, but it's just so good, and it's this beautiful conversation about like what is a good person, and like is it selfish to do this? Like what are the ramifications of that? And that's a situation I've dealt with a lot in life. It's just really good, and then putting others first. Comparatively is a smaller episode, except for like that frog part. But like it's comparatively a smaller episode.
Oh my god! Wait, did you? I just put together why you said small.
What?
Oh, I thought you said like a smaller episode, and then you said minus the frog part. Isn't that what you said?
I did say that. I'm confused at what you think.
I just thought it was funny that like there's
because he's big.
But he's big.
Oh my god. That is not at all what I meant by that. I just meant like that's a big event. Stop trying to fish for puns with me. You will know when I'm making a joke because I'll sound really uncomfortable and think that it's horrible.
Listen, I only got so many in the bank, bro. I gotta like do more like.
It was small except for that big frog moment.
There he is.
Fun fact: I legitimately did not know for a very long time why the hell he turned into a frog, and then one day it finally clicked. I was like, "Oh, Frogger!"
Whoa.
That was like a whole point.
You gotta watch Sandershead's episodes like 3 times at least.
Yeah.
To even get everything.
That's a good point. Or I need to like pay attention.
Well, the thing is, my brain can't pay attention like that. There are a handful of things that I've really missed, and there's like when you watch me watch recordings, there are things that I just absolutely glaze over.
Yeah, I remember I was the one who told you about the connection from what they were saying in the beginning of DeWitt, dealing with intrusive thoughts, about when they were talking about Reese Witherspoon.
Just like heaven?
Just like heaven, yes. When they were talking about Just Like Heaven, and I was like, oh, they're talking about Remus there. And I told you about that, and I was like, that's such good writing. And then you were like, what?
I love how I don't even remember what you said. You need to tell everybody else too.
Do I remember what I said? At the beginning, I'm trying to remember the dialogue at the beginning of the episode. They're talking about Just Like Heaven right before Remus shows up. Oh, that's what they were saying. They were saying that like it was what Virgil said right before he noticed Remus, which was like ghosts aren't like inherently evil. Like they're just like they just shock you when they show up. Like they're more of a spooky presence rather than actually having like bad intentions necessarily. Like, he said something like that. It was something along those lines. And it was like, no, that exactly applies to the whole point of the episode of Remus. Like, he's not inherently, like, out to get you in a sense or something like that. It was more of the fact that, he's just spooky. He's just a little spooky nuisance boy. I think I'm butchering this.
Well, the thing is, I know what line you're trying to get at.
You do.
But the thing is, also honing in on the line that's not what you're talking about.
Yeah. I think I might have butchered the entirety of what Remus is in that episode.
I don't remember what the line is.
Oh.
How is she a ghost if she's not... How
is she a ghost if she's not evil? Wasn't that the line?
How is she a ghost if she's not... Oh, man.
I don't know what you're thinking.
How is she a ghost if she's not dead? Perhaps she was accidentally... astral projecting, or maybe it was an out-of-body experience.
Uh-huh.
Or maybe it was an out-of-body experience. I thought astral projecting was an out-of-body experience. I don't know. I'm just glad the movie had a happy ending. That's what makes good cinema. So it wasn't really a ghost. Talk about ghost baiting.
Well, that's not the part, but like...
Well, that's the line I'm trying to find for you.
Oh, that's the line you're... Well, that wasn't the line I was looking for at all.
Are you just the ghosts aren't evil? Just scare people because you never know when they're going to show up?
Yes, that's what it was.
He screams. That's obviously where Remus shows up because then he's like, oh my God.
Well, yeah, I know where the line was. I just didn't know what exactly the line was.
Oh.
Well, yeah, so it was that he's not... They're basically saying that Remus is not evil necessarily. It's just that, you never know when he's going to show up and it's scary. It was foreshadowing about what Remus is. And foreshadowing the point that, like, he's not... like gonna kill you. He's not dangerous. He's just spooky because he shows up randomly. That was the whole point. I don't know if that's what I said up until this point or if that was butchered and this is the real thing, but like we got there in the end.
I think what we've learned, one of the things we've learned from that conversation is Amy has dealing with intrusive thoughts memorized. Why? No one knows. But I do.
And we've also learned that Tegrill definitely does not have it memorized.
Yeah, SVS and dealing with intrusive thoughts are the two that I like almost have word for word.
That's fair.
Which why I was obsessed with dealing with intrusive thoughts for a while, and then it was just I would just like listen to it getting ready for the day, and so I listened to it enough that I memorized it. But
back to putting this first though. We were on a weird tangent. Where did that even come from?
Two people with ADHD.
Oh my God. But yeah, putting others first. I love that episode because it's so simple. Like it really, for the majority of it, is just like, and I know like a lot of this is gonna be something that sounds like it's explaining most Sanderside's episodes, so maybe it really isn't nearly as different. But like, it's just not Logan. I talked about the one person who's barely in the episode. The only way I could have gotten more wrong is if I said Virgil. It's Thomas, Patton, and Roman just sort of bouncing ideas off each other and just going back and forth and just like I feel like different than any other Sandersides episode. It's the one where I think it feels most naturally like a conversation. Like, not that the other ones don't, but in the sense that in this one they're very much like, again, they're bouncing ideas off. They're like, one of them puts forth an idea and they're kind of like sitting there and considering it and sort of like going back and forth in ramifications, and then they're like, oh, well, what about this? Like, I really like it. It feels like a more natural, simple conversation. And like, I feel like it's definitely an episode where, for that same reason, people could get like maybe a little bit less interested because it's a little bit less going on specifically, which I think is why like a lot of the video game graphics definitely help in that area. But it's funny because like, I think I'm just very interested in episodes sometimes where it's a little more simple and it's a bit more about like just talking out some like interesting psychology. It's like, I have the same thing with the series Loki, the Marvel series Loki. So without spoiling anything, a good like chunk of that show, there's like a couple episodes specifically that are mainly just talking about like morality and different like things and just like sitting down and having a conversation. And I know I was watching with my dad. He completely fell off the show. And meanwhile, I'm sitting here like, this is the most interesting thing. The dialogue, like what? How dare you be like what? Because he's not fighting. Like it's so interesting.
Can you spot a psychology nerd from a mile away?
Me?
People who are interested in listening to conversations about psychology.
Am I officially a psychology nerd? Is that what we've discovered today?
You are.
I guess so.
Welcome to the nerd.
Oh my god, you witnessed it here, folks. I just learned about myself.
Wow.
Proceeds to sing a verse of Incomplete because I learned a new thing about myself. Oh my god. Oh my god.
I watched the show that they call Loki, and I...
Watch me actually write lyrics and post it to one of them on social media. I might do that now.
Post it on the thing.
I might have to.
Oh my god.
I'm not making any official promises, but I might just end up sometime in the near future posting a small incomplete verse for myself based on this podcast.
Please. Please do.
But no, SBS and Putting Others First are beautiful. Also, one other geeky little detail about Putting Others First that I'll close off with. It's a really stupid detail. For like it isn't, but it is. So Leslie Odom Jr. is in that episode.
We love
Leslie Odom Jr. Most people know because of Hamilton.
I love him.
And other things. Fun fact: he was also on Supernatural once. For those Supernatural fans out there, it was really funny. It was like, I was like, is that Aaron Burr? I was like, I haven't even seen Hamilton yet, and I saw him and I was like, is that Aaron Burr? Because I knew him from Sanders Sides.
Oh my god.
But
I'm gonna wait real quick.
Yeah.
I gotta mention he's sung "Without You" from Rent, and it's on Spotify, and it's my favorite thing to listen to when I'm sad. So there you go. Take that information, breathe it in. I'm gonna go back into the listening stance now. Go ahead.
The listening stance.
I just needed
God. For the viewers on YouTube, what is the listening stance?
Glorious. Yeah, how's the listening stance going?
Well, right now it just looks like you're sitting, so it's pretty boring.
Oh.
Dang, be more interesting. I'll describe the listening stance for the Spotify listeners. Do a listening stance. The arms have raised. It is just a T-pose. It's like you like turned into an NPC.
I am an
Oh my god, we're talking about the video game episode. Now we brought it back to NPCs. Circular. Anyways, Leslie Odom Jr. Was in that episode. Fun fact, he was also in Blue's Clues and You. So, he was a character called Mo Snow. He was a snowman. He got to sing with Josh. But so it's funny to think now that I can say legitimately that like a character from Blue's Clues is on Sanders Sides. So amazing. Like that's not the reason I love Putting Others First, but it definitely helps.
Definitely adds. Yeah.
It definitely adds like a little bit of whimsy. I'm like, oh my god. People are like the Hamilton guy, and I'm like, yo, Mo Snow. It's Mo Snow, yo.
It's one of those things. Remember that conversation where people were like daring the internet to like go up to celebrities and let them know about like or compliment them on something that they usually aren't complimented for.
Oh yeah.
Do that for him. He could be like,
watch me.
Bro, you're Mo Snow. I'm Blue's Clues.
I know you from Sanders Sides and Mo Snow. And he's like, do you know me from anything else? And I'd be like, I guess you were Aaron Burr. You were on Supernatural that one time. I'm just gonna list all like the random credits that like he never hears about.
Here's the deal. As an actor myself, like if someone did that to me, I would appreciate.
That's fair. And if he like grew up with Blue's Clues, like that would be especially like heartwarming to be like, oh my god, heartwarming. He was Mo Snow. He would have melted.
Hola?
That was a laugh and a half. My god.
Sanders Sides reference. Oh my god.
That was a reference?
Except, like also a lot of things. Yeah, that's a Sanders Sides reference.
Did I get that from Sanders Sides?
Janice goes, that's a laugh.
It was Janice?
It was Janice.
I'm so pleased that I accidentally referenced my boy.
I gotta comment on the smile on Tekral's face right now. It's huge.
I got so happy. I was like, oh my god. Not only was it a Sanders Sides, but it was the Sanders Side.
The Sanders Side.
Which you are wearing the shirt of?
I think you have a favorite, Tekral.
Do I? I don't know if I do. It's interesting because like, but the thing is, if that was any other side, there would be just as equal a chance. I'd be like, oh my god, I love Logan. Like, you don't think so?
I'm gonna argue like Janice.
Man, how many things am I gonna learn about myself in this episode?
A lot about yourself today.
I gotta get that incomplete verse written.
Oh my god, dude.
There's a Santa side named Janice.
Named Janice, and I'm actually gonna. I tried to say stressed, but also Janice.
Well, I am stressed constantly, but
Janice. Anyway.
What?
I was trying to make things rhyme. I was trying to make things rhyme. Don't worry about me.
I feel like you should apologize for having the word anus in that mix.
Strainus. I didn't say that.
I know.
That wasn't. No, I will not apologize. How dare you?
You added like an A sound that never should have been there. It should have been Stranus.
How dare. I was an Ulisanis fan.
Which also goes against your point.
Exactly. Moving on.
So, now that we've gotten that contradiction out of the way, what's your favorite episode? Oh. I just want to take a moment real quick. Thank you for watching this and listening to this, if you are. I'm so sorry.
No, I'm not. I hope you're having fun. I hope because that's the thing, that as much chaos is also going to be in here, Tech Girl and I really do get in deep conversations, and I'm really excited to have this podcast put a light on those and show like what this looks like.
I think this is going to be a bit more structured once we're talking about a specific like bigger like topic. I think we're a bit unhinged right now because we're getting into the flow of things. It's episode 1. We're talking about ourselves. Like, there's a lot of craziness going on.
A lot of dopamine in the chat.
Dopamine. How dope? Execute me, please. Execute me. Get me out of here.
No.
Get to the podcast.
Do it. Okay, my favorite episode. Again, this is like a deeper reason. Is Moving On, Moving Forward. Mm-hmm. And Moving On, Moving Forward is my favorite because when that episode dropped, I was starting to start loving Sandersides, and I was also about to graduate high school, which means I was a senior in high school, which also means for those of you that have for anyone who has ever been in high school should know that, boy howdy, everybody's talking about leaving. Everybody's talking about getting scholarships. Everybody's talking about moving on. And I was not ready because I come from a very close family. My family was very tight, and I didn't really go anywhere. I wasn't really like jumping from household to household or anything. I'm very thankful for that. And I'm not trying to downplay anyone else, but that's just where I came from. Yeah. So the thought of leaving home and going to a college that I'd never been to and being with people I'd never met, was just really, really scary. So that episode dropped, and I felt very heard by Patton in a way that I had never really processed. Because I love Patton and he's very silly and wonderful, but he's never really been my favorite. And we'll get into, as I say, we'll get into that later. But
there's a lot to be said there.
Patton really stood out to me in that episode, and especially the second one. So it's the only Sandersides episode that's ever made me cry, because that episode was the acting. Thomas's acting as Patton I aspire to be the actor that he is in that episode. The details, the writing of the moments, and I was already starting to learn how to apply the Sandersides to my mind, and seeing how accurate it was. If something the whole phone call moment where Roman's pick it up, and Virgil's don't, that's a beautifully written moment. I think it's gorgeous. So once that episode dropped and they were talking about grief that wasn't related to death, I had never really processed it that way before. So it really helped me keep moving forward into a part of my life that I was scared of. And Well, what else? I have my notes here. Hold on. There's so much to talk about with this one episode. Okay, so it's funny actually. Thomas recently released the Wes Anderson like Sanders Sides thing, and the one step in front of the other kiddo line came out at the end, and all three of my really close friends just went, "Oh my god, Amy's gonna love this," because that line is like became such an impactful message for me. That's where I started crying. I usually don't cry in Sanders Sides episodes, as I say, but like that one made me feel very seen and just made me like, I'm going to be okay. And we're going to keep moving forward. It was the first thing I wrote on my whiteboard when I got to college. I wrote one step in front of the other kiddo with a little Patton heart on there because I was really nervous. I'm going to cry talking about it. Like it's such an important part of my history. Because also like later on when I was dealing with other really intense situations in my life that I didn't want to push through or I didn't feel like I was doing right or whatever, I went to therapy for one of them, and my therapist, well, like I've said, I struggle with mental health as well, so that was also part of it, or mental disorders. So one of the, I just remember a very distinct therapy session where my therapist was like, "Amy, I need you to take your knuckles and rub them on your temples," and I was like, "Why?" But okay. So I started to do that, and I was like, okay, this feels good, I guess, whatever. And she was just like, now I want you to think of like a line or a word or something that like is very like inspiring to you and can help you keep that motivation moving forward. And I was like one step in front of the other. And I didn't say kiddo because I was embarrassed, but I did. I don't know why I was embarrassed, but I think it's just the word kiddo. I was like,
I love the idea that if you said that, the therapist would have been like, "Did you just call me kiddo?"
No. Yo, kiddo, therapist.
Kiddo.
You literally Picani. I would have done that if Picani. So I was rubbing my temples and I said one step in front of the other. And she was like, "Yeah, actually, that works great." So I started to do that. I started to just rub my temples and say one step in front of the other, like over and over and over. And I just started sobbing. Like I just started crying. And like it actually like helped me release a lot of like pent up tension that I had for myself. So as some of you also know, this is tattooed on my arm now.
Okay.
And with the kiddo on there. I'm not embarrassed about that.
You're calling the world kiddo now.
That's just a big roundabout way of saying as painful and hard to watch as that episode is because of how like deep and emotional that everybody is. It's been so helpful for me when I'm deeply emotional and I'm dealing with things that I don't want to deal with. And it's just well made and it's just really good. And I don't think there's anything that, I don't think there's any other episode that's ever going to beat it. As much as I love SVS, you said SVS and I agree with you. That's my second one.
That's so fair.
Moving forward is just my favorite. It's the one that's just going to be part of my heart for the rest of my life. So, yeah.
It's so good. It's such a good episode. It's also definitely the type of the type of episode. Yeah, you know what I mean? Yeah. It's wow, you'd be the first. It's the type of episode that I remember the first time I watched it. I was like, "Oh, ow. I don't know if I want to watch this again anytime soon." And it's definitely one of the episodes I think I've seen least comparatively to most Sanders Sides episodes because it's a bummer. But I remember I definitely went through something, which I won't go into detail because personal, that enhanced that episode like a little while back. That I remember I immediately went to that episode after this had happened and I was like, okay, I wonder how this is going to hit this time because it's somewhat relevant. And then I watched and I was like, oh, it hits God.
Different.
Really?
You think of it different. It just, I don't know what it is, but that episode like will change you.
Oh yeah. The first time I watched it, I got like probably misty-eyed. I don't think up until that point I had like been made to cry from Sanders Sides. And then the second time I saw it when it was relevant, I like sobbed. And I was like, oh God, this is worse than ever, but like in the best way.
And I want to mention, like, with that episode, like, not that the other episodes aren't this way, but I know that Thomas had said that he was actually dealing with a breakup when he made that episode. I think that's one of the reasons I feel like that episode is so special anyway, because of how raw the emotion is anyway. Like, it's it's real from his perspective. So like, it's also real in any situation that we deal with, moving forward with it, moving forward.
Yeah, but that is definitely the case, I think, with a lot of art, specifically things like stories and songs in that sense, where the closer it is to an experience that you've had that's like moved you in that way, the easier it is and the more effective it is to be able to write it and, you know, show it in a way that people will find relatable and that will show that you really put that like heart and soul into it. And again, like you said, not saying that that's not in the rest of Sandersides, it of course is, but like that's definitely one of the ones that feels a bit different. You can really feel the emotion of that episode a little bit extra comparatively. It's just so beautiful.
I'll fight people. It's the best one.
Well, SPS.
I'll fight you.
Fight me. I don't care. But like, no, like everyone's opinion is valid. And when it comes to their favorite episode.
Yeah.
I was gonna say unless, and I was like, well, I don't really know if there's an unless.
No, there's not an unless.
Unless it's becoming a cartoon.
I would argue.
I only say that because of like the featured celebrity in that episode.
No, we don't have to.
Yeah, we're not going to get into that one, but that is a thing, and I don't blame Thomas for that one, but like that is a thing.
The episode itself is good though.
Oh no, I mean the episode is great. It's just in retrospect, given things that have happened over time and people who have changed a bit.
Yeah.
Sorry, there was a fly. I got spooked.
It's fine.
Oh my god.
It's fine. All right, what? Okay.
What?
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm still distracted by the interruptions.
Oh my god. Yeah. People aren't gonna see it, but we did edit out. Like, there's gonna be a jump cut in the YouTube version that people are gonna be like, "What happened?" It's like there might even be a vacuum noise that you might have heard in the end of a certain bit. I'm glad you didn't hear it. Maybe it'll hopefully not be that bad, but it really you might not have heard it over Discord, but it probably was audible given my microphone. We'll see.
Is there? Well, do you have any other notable moments in Sandersides that you want to talk about before we end off this episode?
I know one of the ones that I had that, like, I feel like a lot of people have this story, like, a lot of people have the similar story of, like, oh my god, I didn't even realize I had this, or was this, or felt this, until I saw it in Sandersides. Like you said a lot earlier, I think you had mentioned it earlier with Virgil, to some extent, but I know that one for me was the intrusive thoughts one, because dealing with intrusive thoughts, I had gone into that episode. It's such a beautiful episode too. It's such a good one. It's not my favorite, but it's a beautiful, great episode, and I love Remus. But what?
I've memorized.
Oh, you have it memorized? Yeah, honestly.
Anything, but I love it. Yeah.
But, no, I didn't know what intrusive thoughts were specifically, and I feel like a lot of people have these experiences with a lot of different facets of themselves, where they have this thing that they do, that you do, and you or like that you do or feel, and you're like, this is everyone, right? And then you sort of realize over time, maybe this is just a me thing. I don't know, like, and you sort of like, you don't have an explanation as to what it is, so you either assume I'm a freak or it's everyone. And I feel like usually you sort of settle on like, yeah, I'm a freak, like, what am I doing? This is me. And you sort of like, okay, this is only me, like, who else does this? What is wrong? Especially with intrusive thoughts, having those like crazy, weird, like gross, unsettling thoughts show up out of nowhere and just sort of keep like hitting your brain and recurring like in that moment. It's disgusting. You feel like such like an abnormal person in those moments. I
also want to add that we both are anxious individuals, so that might just be overthinker in us.
Overthinking, like heightened anxiety thinking.
Oh yeah, I know. It's really easy, at least for my Virgil. Mm-hmm. Get ready for the language, folks. My Virgil would be like, yo, this is just like you're overreacting, you're being too much, or this is like no one else does this, you're weird. Yeah. We're
gonna talk about like a lot about our sides, I'm sure, over the course of this year, like our Virgil or Logan or Pat, like
and Tech, you're gonna get to know it.
That's the best thing about this, is that like as much as you're gonna like learn about like the psychology behind Sandersides, like as a product, as a result, and I think this is just the case with any podcast you deal with, you're gonna learn about us. Yeah, and I hope you find us interesting in that respect.
I find you.
Oh my god, I find you interesting.
Oh my god.
Whoa. My
Yeah.
God, let's hope everyone else thinks the same.
Virgil, fuck off.
My Virgil. But no. So when I watched Dealing with Intrusive Thoughts, I like learned what intrusive thoughts were, and like again, it's one of those moments where it just all clicked, and I was like, oh, that's what I do. Like that's what that is. And then like getting to hear about it and learn about it, and feeling like what's the word, like feeling validated and like, oh my God, like this is what that was all this time. I'm not a freak, I'm not a bad person, I'm not gross and terrible. It's just like these thoughts that came up out of nowhere, and it's something that I just need to learn to ignore. And again, not only did I get to learn about it, but I learned like to not be as scared of it, to not be as unsettled by it, and just sort of like the nature of what it is, rather than it being this like terrible thing. So
I also think what's cool about Sanderside's episodes is like, I don't know if you were talking about genuine intrusive thoughts, but I know for me, like some of these episodes don't necessarily, I don't connect to in the exact way the episode is talking about. So like with intrusive thoughts, for me, like sometimes it's like an interest I have. Like my love of artificial intelligence is so massive that I get really like uncomfortable when it's brought up. So like obviously it's
that
not
would count the same. I think that's more of hyperfixation territory.
No. But that's the thing, it's not the same, but like with dealing with intrusive thoughts, it was like, you're okay.
Yeah,
there's nothing
okay.
you're doing wrong. Just keep moving. You're fine.
It means more
like,
about like it's natural to have thoughts sort of be like pushed to your like the forefront of your mind if you're not wanting them to.
Yeah,
Okay,
it's just I think what's cool about Sanderside's episodes that like you can take them. Everybody's going to take them a little differently, whether it's like exactly what they're talking about or just connecting to something similar.
Yeah, and that's also the interesting thing about this podcast. Like, we're definitely going to be connecting a lot of this to like real psychology, but we're also like a lot of it is also going to end up being our opinions. It's going to be what we feel about the characters. So like even what we say is not like so perfectly unanimous all the time. So it's just you're getting a peek into our perspectives on the series, mixed
like
in with some like real stuff about it.
Yeah, like my feelings about Patton.
Oh. Makes
me sad.
Oh, but
anyway, we'll get to that.
Yeah. As for any other connections, I mean, I know it definitely was like one of the earlier pieces of like mental health media that I'd gotten into. Like, I don't know if it was the first, but it definitely like it started a trend of like finding more and more media that was like, again, surrounded in mental health and like steeped in it, and getting to watch something that's both entertaining but also like teaching me about myself. And this sort of trend, like this sort of media ended up expanding my horizons to finding things like The Good Place or oh my God, we can talk about The Good Place, but or even like, this is gonna be a weird comparison, but those who have seen the series are gonna know the show Lucifer on Netflix. Beautiful series, definitely a bit out there, but like it's literally like a lot of it, like slight spoiler I suppose, but like also it's something that happens by the end of episode 1, so I don't think it's a real spoiler. It's about, not only is it about the devil, the actual devil being a detective, but it's also about him going to therapy. He consistently goes to therapy throughout the course of the series.
I need to see this show. You keep talking.
I need to show it to you. We're gonna have to watch it. We'll have to add it to our like list of shows to watch because it's really, I think it's really good. It's not like perfect, but like it's really good. But no, but basically Sanderside's really got me on that like trend of watching a lot of more mental health media, and it's also an inspiration to make mental health media.
Yeah.
Like especially like because this one's on YouTube, and I've wanted to be like a creator for so long. Like it is. I think specifically Sanderside's was the catalyst for the inspiration of a lot of like series and things that I want to be able to make in the future that also regard mental health. Mm-hmm. So it's just really special in that way. Like Sanderside's it's just really good. In case you didn't know that I thought that, having made a whole podcast about it, like I think it's pretty neat.
A whole podcast about our favorite series.
That's the other thing you get to hear a lot of us do a lot in the series. We're gonna gush.
We're gonna gush and get. Have I mentioned that I love Sandersides?
No.
I don't know if I said that already. I probably should say.
I don't think so.
So, all right. That that's all we really have.
I suppose it is. Oh my God, we did a podcast episode.
1. High five.
Oh, I don't know if we can do that. Wapow. I don't know why I went for wapow. I've turned into Chandler Bing for a second there, but here we are.
Yeah, I felt it. So, Tekro, where can you find the new episodes of this podcast?
Well, as mentioned earlier, you can find them, I don't know where you're watching currently, but you can find them on both Spotify and also YouTube at the handle Side-ology. And again, if you want to follow along for updates and maybe even potentially to, hearing some things that might end up getting into episodes, wink wink, you can check us out and follow us over on Instagram and Twitter, both of the handle of, I forgot it for a second, Side-ology Pod. Yeah, I should probably try to remember our own branding. That'd be great. So, Side-ology Pod on Instagram and Twitter. You can follow us along. We'll post updates as they come out. We'll let you guys know when episodes are coming out. And, again, little things that might be able to impact episodes as they come around. So,
we'll see.
We gon' see.
Guys, thank you so much for taking the time to listen to our podcast.
Oh my God, truly. Like, the amount of people who've shown such, interest in it already.
And we haven't even posted this episode yet because we're making it right now.
Yeah, at the time that we're recording this, we already have, people following and, starting to like and comment. And it's amazing. That means so much to up-and-coming creators when you are starting out, because it's so scary, right, to start out a new channel and a series, because you're always worried that no one's gonna care. But,
I love that this fander, we're a community, and there's a lot of things that I hope you'll be able to connect to, and you'll be interested in hearing us talk about moving forward. So
moving on and moving forward.
Oh
my God.
Yeah. Anyway, but for now we must not move on, and we must pause and go to episode 2 for next time.
Oh my God.
So, thank you so much for listening.
Thank you, guys.
Pay attention.
We love you.
And we'll see you next time.
Goodbye, peeps.
Bye-bye.
Bye.